So in closing, give us your level of optimism at this point. Are we going to be okay?
Well, there's a lot of climate exaggeration, that climate is not the end of the planet. So the planet's going to be fine. We're not going to completely reverse development. So, when we went from 10 million kids dying per year in the year 2000 down to 5 million, we're not going to reverse that. It's going to slow down our progress. And so things like climate adaptation, which doesn't get hardly any visibility, that's become very important for the poorer countries. And yes, it is a burden on them, a significant burden on them that, it's not, they didn't create the problem, we created the problem. So this is all numbers. Will we hit 1.5 degrees? No. Will we hit 3 degrees? No. We'll be below, we'll be in that range. The lower, the better. And the sense of progress, it's important for people to see that emissions in many areas have come down, and at least at the lab level, we have economic solutions for every kind of emission.
Dr. Lindzen, you delivered a presentation today where you spoke about several narratives relating to climate change in general and carbon dioxide in particular. As someone who works in the sciences, what does it say about where we are today that you delivered a presentation about narratives?
Well, it says that science itself has become sort of a slight irrelevance, that stories have been promoted over the last 25, 30 years, and they have completely redirected the science. But more to the point, they've also followed Eisenhower's warning that fundamentally, as the state monopolizes the support of science, it calls the shots. And so you have the scientists on the one hand, on both sides, presenting, I would say, not particularly alarming scenarios. But then you have the body politic presenting something that does not, by and large, have the support of science about, the end of the planet, but resting assured that the science won't complain.
What is the cost of the politicization of science?
Well, it's many things. I mean, I don't think any field survives this degree of corruption without losing, if nothing else, its self-respect. But in terms of climate science, I think it's set back the field probably a few generations. I mean, it forced it into a channel that was not describing most of past climate change. And so instead of trying to figure out how the Earth behaved, the field was co-opted into a situation where it was supposed to support a paradigm that the government wanted, or that the environmental movement wanted. Hard to disentangle the two also, because the environmental movement itself has become highly political.
Good afternoon, actually good evening, ladies and gentlemen across our beautiful country of Canada, our friends around the world in the known and unknown universe. Welcome back to your favorite Angry Canadian on the first day of March 2024, coming to you from beautiful British Columbia, Canada. It is 9:24 p.m. Friday night. What am I doing? Oh, I don't know. I love to make videos, so I'm in my office plucking away at them, and I'm also thinking a lot. I would love, and I've talked about this, not would love, I am gonna get a muscle car because, well, I'm 69 years old, and that means I have memories of my younger days in the 60s, 70s, and it's not that I want to relive it, but I sure as the hell don't want the government telling me what I should drive, where, when, how, all these things. that we didn't have back then. You could get into your car and go for a cruise. You know why? Just because you felt like it. And man, I don't care what Trudeau says about the past and stuff like that. I miss that. I miss those days. I miss those times. So let's get rolling. I'm going to be 69 years old this year, and I'm still looking at cars and wanting to have a Camaro. I found a few in the British Columbia Auto Trader, and this is one of them. It's a 2010 SS. That's an automatic, and 25 grand is what they're looking for on that one. But I did find a few, including a yellow one. Holy smokes. You know, they were quite rare, the 2010 yellow Camaros, and a 2014. So there's a few that I've been looking at, 2010, 2011, 2014, and there's no decision made yet. I got time. At least I think I got time. But I want, just like they said in that fantastic Academy Award, well, they got robbed. I mean, man, I tell you, they should have got an Academy Award. And of course, I'm talking about Smokey and the Bandit. When Bandit said, need a speedy car, well, we got some friggin' speedy cars available. And I think it's a good thing for the environment, because carbon is what plants need. And if plants need it, animals need it. We shouldn't be getting rid of it. If anything, we should be putting more carbon out into the atmosphere. And that is what I aim to do. This one is a 2014. And they're all fairly low mileage, or kilometers, as I say in Canada. And like this one's 27,000 bucks. It's a 2011 6-speed, and yeah, I could see myself cruising around with that. And no, I don't give a rat's ass about gas and pollution and all this shit, because that's all lies. Lies, lies, they tell you lies. Look, is it true what you've been told about this big pandemic that we had, and the vaccines that are so you know, you get vaccinated, you're not going to have any issues. No, not you, not your family. I mean, remember when Trudeau didn't want his kids on a plane because, well, somebody beside them might not be vaccinated. So we're going to fucking well order everyone to get vaccinated. Now we got people dropping dead all over with this blood clotting and heart issues and all the other issues that it has brought around. And the government hasn't come out and said, oh shit, sorry about that. And they can't, because they knew it. They knew it was bad, but they shoved it on us. Now, do you believe what's happening in Ukraine and Russia? One day, Putin got up and for no apparent reason invaded Ukraine. And now that's a big battle. Or in Gaza, you know, Israel has to self-defense, man. It's self-defense when they bomb the shit out of cities, killing tens of thousands of men, women, and children, and then they lie about it. You know, our Western governments even support it, sending more aid and weapons, billions of dollars worth of weapons. Well, actually, you know, that helps the industries in the West, because we got a military-industrial complex that really depends on wars. Shit, without wars, what are they going to build? Bicycles? No, they got to build more missiles, rockets, drones. Oh, yeah, we're going to send drones to Ukraine because they need them. Oh, yeah. 900 drones, I think, for 80 million or 100 million bucks or whatever. It's beyond anything that I can fathom. I mean, I'm thinking about buying a used car for $20,000-$30,000 neighborhood, and even that is a stretch. But I'm not gonna just surrender my life to these pieces of shit that we got in government, that we have in science, that we have in the media. Oh, the media, they just burn me, man. So let's take a little look now at electric dreams, because the electric car movement, well, actually, it's not everything that you've been told. But are they going to correct themselves? Is the news media going to say, hey, something's rotten here in
Anybody want to jump in the back? And now my president says the future.
It's electric, and there's no turning back.
To make sure of that, some states are banning gas-powered cars.
Gasoline cars are driving us toward climate chaos. We actually have to stop using fossil fuel vehicles.
California's governor made that an executive order.
We will eliminate the sales of internal combustion engines.
Governments everywhere say they plan to do that.
The government has a vision for a future where all our cars will be electric.
But this is just magical thinking. It can't happen. In this video and the next, we point out 5 inconvenient facts about electric cars that politicians and green activists just don't understand.
Electric cars are amazing.
Physicists like Mark Mills of the Manhattan Institute do understand. He says the trend to electric is a good thing.
But it won't change the future in any significant way with respect to oil use or carbon dioxide emissions.
That's inconvenient fact 1. More electric cars will hardly dent oil use. If all of us bought electric cars, would it make any difference?
So the world has 15, 18 million electric vehicles now. It could go to 300 million, maybe 500 million vehicles. I don't think it'll get that many, but that's the aspiration. That would reduce world oil consumption by about 10%. That's not nothing, but it doesn't end the use of oil for the world.
Because most of it's used for what?
Flying airplanes, driving buses, big trucks. The mining equipment to get the copper to build the electric cars is all oil-fired, and it won't change because those trucks last 40 years.
And even if all vehicles somehow switch to electricity, there'd be another problem because despite what we've heard,
further, faster, cheaper, and greener.
Electric cars are not all that green. One reason is because electricity isn't all that green. I'm amazed talking to people who are all excited about their electric car and they say, and I'm not polluting. And I say, where do you get the electricity from? And they don't know. They don't know that most of America's electricity comes from fossil fuels, natural gas and coal. Just 12% comes from wind and solar. Yet auto companies tell us
electric vehicles in general are better and more sustainable for the environment.
She's a Ford engineer. She's not ignorant.
Well, actually, she probably is ignorant in the literal sense of the word. Well, actually, she probably is ignorant in the literal sense of the word. She's not stupid, but ignorance speaks to what you know. You have to mine somewhere on Earth 500,000 pounds of minerals and rock to make one battery.
And most of this mining isn't done in the U.S. American regulations make it nearly impossible. So it's done other places, polluting those countries. And worse, ingredients in batteries are mined in places that enslave people and use child labor.
An army of children are at the heart of the mining production, wearing no shoes and in the most wretched conditions.
Most Americans proudly driving electric cars don't know about this. They just don't want mining done near them. But wherever it's done, mining is a dirty business that adds lots of carbon to the air.
If you're worried about carbon dioxide, the electric vehicle is emitted 10 to 20 tons of carbon dioxide before it even gets to your driveway, before you drive the first mile and plug it in the first time.
Carbon dioxide produced by the mining and the manufacturing and the shipping.
Exactly. Volkswagen published an honest study. They point out that the first 60,000 miles or so you're driving an electric vehicle, that electric vehicle will have emitted more carbon dioxide than if you just drove a conventional vehicle in the first place.
You have to own it for a while before the electric part starts to win.
You have to own it for at least 100,000 miles, and then the electric part wins by some. So it doesn't get you a zero emissions vehicle. It's reduced the emissions then by 20 or 30%, which is not nothing, but it's not zero.
No, it's not close to zero. In our next video, more inconvenient facts about electric cars. Politicians make impossible assumptions about batteries and the electric grid.
You know, it's going to be time for everyone to gather together who opposes and doesn't buy this baloney that they're feeding us. It doesn't matter if it's in Canada, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, United States, you name it, Germany. Oh man, Germany, their economy was destroyed by Well, somebody blew up that damn pipeline that was bringing them energy, and without energy, Germany, this big energy consuming country, because they had industries going everywhere, building cars and you name it, they were on top of Europe, and now, well, they're in a recession. Oh, and so are other countries moving into a recession. But you can bet your ass that the wealthy aren't going to be going into a recession. They're going to continue to make money and more, because when they make people switch to anything, they're not, asking you, they're making you. As I said, they're going to make you get into an electric car unless people revolt. And when you revolt, you got to get family members who are cops, who are in the military, to understand that they are for the country and for the citizens, not for some lame-ass politician who is trying to shimmy up the World Economic Forum's ladder and give big smooch to, Klaus Schwab, because he is going to be the leader of the world. It won't be free. That saying, free world, that's going to be gone. Anyway, I'm losing it now. I got to put on another little clip to keep you interested in our beautiful world that's being run into the ground by people that have no right to. Well, I'm not going to use the thing that I was going to say because, again, that could. Oh, I got to tell you before I go into a video. I made a comment about Trudeau on a video, calling him a little F and little man. Little man. Oh, you fucking little man. And I put that into a comment. Well, that wasn't appreciated, it would appear, because I got a notice from YouTube. It wasn't a big thing. It wasn't direct. It's just a standard notice that you can't be saying stuff like that. And if you're going to continue it, then we're going to, you're going to be having your account shut down, maybe even lose your channel. So, what can we do? We've got to fight back tooth and nail while we still are able to. At least that's my opinion.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. Do you remember that? No, we need to replace those sayings with scrap it and buy a new one. Ideally every 3 years, preferably on finance. Good morning and welcome to my third video of today. I appreciate it's probably afternoon or evening when you're watching this, but it's the morning as I am filming, and I can tell that because the sky's grey. I was going to say because of the position in the sun, but we don't really see it anymore. Anyway, this one is really bad news. I actually dreamt that I'd already made this video, and I was really embarrassed because in my dream, when I made this video, I cried. EU's controversial car laws versus repairing older vehicles. This is from Euro Weekly News. With the internal combustion engine to be consigned to history in the not too distant future, recent information has emerged regarding the European Union's plan to restrict repairs on older vehicles. If any of this gets anywhere near to going through, I'm done. Seriously. The proposal, originating from the European Commission and is yet to be ratified, aims to phase out older, more polluting vehicles in favour of environmentally friendly options. This prospective regulation, awaiting approval from the European Parliament and the Council, introduces the notion of a residual vehicle. So we've got this new phrase coming out, calling older cars residual vehicles. It's highly concerning. Cars experiencing failures in major components such as engines, transmissions, brakes or steering, and deemed old, potentially around 15 years. The car I'm sitting in right now is older than 15 years. Will fall under this category, and once they've been labelled as residual, these vehicles would be barred from undergoing significant repairs and would likely be scrapped. For the last 18 months, I've been making videos trying to warn people that the goal is to remove cars from the road. They don't want you in your car, and they absolutely don't want you in a car that you can afford and that you can maintain yourself. This is getting worse.
So, YOLO, you only live once. Well, that was my motto from the time I started my YouTube channel way back in, 2005 or 6, whenever it was, long time ago. Actually, I got 12,000 videos done now, and I won't even get into that because that's been a whole learning experience. In the beginning, I mean, the cameras were, you know, really Mickey Mouse, and basically every year they got better and better and better and better. And, you know, we could have the same thing happen with vehicles, gas, but it's much better and economical and better for the environment to get rid of the gas burners, all of them. You know, there'll be trucks and cars and taxis and you name it. And we got to get rid of them. All the farm equipment. Oh, farms too. You know, they got animals out there burping gas or shitting gas or doing whatever. So, people, wake up. Please, wake up. For yourself, for your kids, for the future. Put an end to this shit.
If one asks about, is the temperature increasing or decreasing? It's always doing one or the other. I have no concern about that. By asking people to worry about whether it's going up or down, you're immediately establishing dishonesty. The Earth is always changing. Climate change is nothing you have to prove. It always is happening. It always has happened. So to make that into something alarming seems to me a little bit weird. Sea level is a hard thing to measure, actually. At any given place, traditionally, sea level was measured by what are called tide gauges. A stick in the water, basically. And two things change what a tide gauge shows: the land moving up and down, and the sea moving up and down. Most places, it's the land that is the biggest effect. So you don't have a good measure of sea level rise. On the other hand, for the last 30 years or so, we've had satellite measurements that are actually measuring sea level. It's very hard to relate these two measurements to each other. They are measuring different things. The general feeling is there is no evidence that it's different now than it has been for the last few thousand years. It's been slowly rising ever since the initial rapid rise after the deglaciation 12,000 years ago. The claim that we've suddenly seen a big change in that, given we've changed the instrumentation and given the error bars cover the difference, is not entirely fair. And to suggest that what's been going on for thousands of years is something we should suddenly be alarmed at also doesn't seem reasonable. When you hear a Ban Ki-moon saying life as we know it will cease if we don't do something, what is he referring to? I don't know. I mean, man is adaptable. People retire to the Sun Belt, not to the Northwest Territory of Canada. Although catastrophes certainly occur, they have many causes, of which global warming is one of the least. There are so many interesting questions in climate. We still do not have a complete handle on why we had ice ages. Now, you know, if you want to be concerned, you want a disaster, having 2 miles of ice on your head is problematic. And the Earth has had that. It's very much a matter of the unchallengeable assertion. All religions have dogmas. Dogmas are not proven statements, they're assertions that cannot be challenged. It doesn't mean they're false. I mean, I'm not even suggesting that. I'm simply suggesting that it's a bad idea to have anything that can't be challenged. And the trouble is, all of us scientists are government employees, even if we're working for private universities. All research is supported by the government. So as such, we're very sensitive to what politicians say and believe. Well, that's a shortcoming. You have to figure out how to fund science in a way that there are no incentives to artificially promoting things. You know, when you hear, for instance, a scientist saying the science is settled, you know that person has stepped out of the science. So, you know, I think that registers with ordinary people. And whenever you see someone say, you know, instead of answering arguments, how could so many people agree if it weren't true? It should be a red flag. My view is one has conflated the trivial, which is that temperature is changing, climate is changing, man plays some role. There's not much disagreement with predictions of disaster that are not connected clearly to warming or to our activities or to anything else. And leaving people with the thought that if the first part is true, the second part must be true. That is certainly not the case. And then to add insult to injury, to propose policies that would have nothing to do with any of it, but involve trillions of dollars and harm to many people, is, I think, crossing the line.